This time on ECRN Garage, I have a new project I'd like to show you guys today. Picked up this new little invention at the hardware store yesterday. Turn it on, turns red when the water's hot. Green when it's warm, and it turns to blue when it's cold. Good for kids and no batteries required. Just a fun little thing. And here's the new project. It's a 1942 Harley 45 WLC. This is a friend of mine's. I helped him about 5 years ago get the bottom end of this together. It's his younger brother's bike. Been working on it for 5 years. There's a bit of a story behind it. Something happened to the engine years ago, and they took the heads to someone to get them repaired. And the guy that was doing it, he had passed away before the heads got repaired. Everyone kind of forgot about them, and they disappeared. So it sat with no heads for years. So my friend decided to try and get it back together and get it going. So he's run out of time with all the project he has on the go. So I was quite interested in doing this because I had a hand in rebuilding the bottom end of the engine. So he lent it to me to see if I could get it going with a bucket full of parts and a bunch of manuals. So I'll be working on this throughout the winter. Also working on my race bike. Hopefully we can get to the States this year with this COVID stuff. Got the dirt bike sold. That should be going out the door in a few weeks. The BSA needs new rocker box studs, so I'm probably going to helicoil them, get rid of the old aluminum stuff. Get that fixed up with a new serial box gasket as usual. And the Buell, all it needs, I got some bar end mirrors for it. I'm going to look around for some stock exhaust mounts so I could put the stock muffler I got back on. It's a little too droney. I drive quite long rides at times, and it just buzzes inside the helmet way too much, but it does sound pretty good. And today I'm going to take the generator. I'm going to do some testing on it. I've been looking it up. Like I said, I'm no motorcycle mechanic, but I looked some stuff up online. I'm going to see if I can test this generator, and the next thing we'll be testing is the coil. And we'll start installing pieces and ordering parts that we find we're missing. I know we're missing some shifter linkages and the controls for the advance and the throttle. I found a company that supplies most of that, so I'm going to source them on a tight a budget as possible. And hope you're going to enjoy this video series on the Harley. I'm going to try and test this generator on this 1942 Harley 45. Watched a couple videos. Didn't seem too difficult. I have the actual service manual that came with the bike from the owner. So I looked through that, and it's pretty much the same process. You're going to turn this generator into a motor by actually hooking up the field winding. You ground it out, and if you apply voltage to it, it should spin. And if it spins, the generator is good. So first, I just stuck this bolt in here to get a good case ground. And then you hook the field coil side. I did some measuring and figured it out from the drawings and the manual. You ground it out. And then you take a ground wire also to the negative on the battery. And then you take the armature and make sure nothing touches the case to ground out. I have a rubber sleeve on that. And if I touch it to the positive, that should spin if the generator's working properly. So let's try that. There we go. That generator should work fine. Be one less part we have to source. Whee! Look at it go. You should be making some voltage now. Awesome. So now I'll be testing the coil. I read some documentation, and apparently you're supposed to get 0.5 ohms on the primary windings and 15 kiloohms between the secondary windings. I know my videos are boring and monotone, but I'm doing my best to try and spice them up a bit. Let's see now. If you can see that meter. So, actually I'll do this easier. I'll use my alligator clips. I can show you the readings a whole lot easier. Alright. We have 0.5 ohms. That's what I was reading in the documentation. So the primary side of this coil looks like it's okay. Let's check the secondary. And they have insulated tubes down in there. I don't know if you can see too well. So I'm just going to take 2 screws and lightly put them in the bottom so I can measure across the two posts down inside. And let's see what we got. Did that pop off? Probably a better way to do this. Oh, I lost all my probes. Let's try this again. I got the alligator clips. Damn alligators, get on the floor with you. Alright, lost the screw. That's what he said. Alright, just try to get you to see the readings on this. See what I can do here now. Let's go like this. Use your hands. Oh, get it. Alright, 15 kiloohms, and that's what it said in the manual on the primary or on the secondary side. So it looks like this coil tests out. Excellent. So now I got a good generator and a good coil to start with. Now I'm going to try to test this coil. Made a few text messages to a couple of buddies of mine. Probably not the best way to be testing the coil or the safest, but this is how we do it here. We got to work with what we got. So I took the condenser unit out of the distributor on the Harley, and as follows, my good buddy Bruce told me this is how you can test a coil once you verified that it ohmed out fine, and we did. So first we're going to hook the condenser across the both sides of the coil. So we'll put the blue to, if I can keep this all in the shot, my blue wire to, I'm going to call it the positive side of the coil. And then we're going to take the base or the case of the condenser to my negative side of the coil. Like that. Now I hooked up a spark plug, and where's my other wire for that? Gonna ground my spark plug to the negative on the battery. And put the negative of the coil to the negative on the battery. Which I will do right now. This handy dandy alligator clip should be fine. We let the magic smoke out, we can't put it back in, so hopefully my friends and my research is somewhat correct, but it seems to be a typical way to test a coil, so we're going to give her a shot. I'm going to take the positive probe to the positive side of the coil, and survey says to charge up this coil, when I release it, the plug should fire. And look at that. Aha. I'll zoom in on that so you guys might be able to see that a bit better. I'll turn the lights off. Might be able to catch that. Got a new whiteboard for Christmas. Got all my projects up here, the race bike, BSA Buell, and the Harley. Can check off a couple things for the Harley now. Alright, we got the coil tested, and we have our generator tested. So next time, I think I might work on the horn and the headlights on the bench, and just to see if I can get everything working before they're installed, in case I have to order any particular things. Remember to like, share, subscribe. So if anybody out there has a line on some Harley 45 parts used, or a good place to get them in North America, drop me a line or a message, and so I can get this thing back together as best I can and see another old bike on the road. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.